tattoo is said to derive from two meanings. From the Polynesian word ta, meaning striking something, and the Tahitian word tattoo, meaning to mark something. Tattoos are created by inserting colored materials beneath the skin's surface. The first known example was the Egyptians, and they were present on female mummies dated back to 2000 BC. But since the discovery of Iceman in 1991 and his tattoo patterns, the date has been pushed further 1,000 years. Iceman is a 5,300-year-old mummy with about 57 tattoos. Wow! Discovered in 1991 in the Austrian-Italian Alps by two hikers. The designs are said to be a series of parallel lines with a cross that was found on the back of one knee.
The purpose of the tattoos are still unknown, but some researchers believe that the tattoos were therapeutic based on the placement.
Siberian mummies with intricate tattoos were found in Russia in 1993. They are known as the Pazyryk tribe, who were nomads in the Altai Mountains of Siberia.
Researcher Dr. Natalia Polesmak says that, compared to all the tattoos found by archaeologists around the world, those on the mummies of the Pazyryk people are the most complicated and the most beautiful. The tattoos were used for personal identifications. Dr. Natalia Polesmak says that the people also believed that they would be helpful in another life, making it easier for the people of the same family and culture to find each other after death.
Tattoos were used for tribal lineage, maturity, spiritual protection, political, social status, and personal space.
Males and females are tattooed as a rite of passage to signify their transition into adulthood. This is called sacralification. Those who don't show pain are thought to possess profound inner strength and will, and are deemed sources of pride for their parents. In early Egyptian times, tattooing practice was limited to just women as a symbol of social class and for spiritual protection. In Nubian tradition, men and women were both tattooed, men for protection in war and women for blessings and protection during pregnancy.
Tattooing in China is called Xi Shen, meaning puncture the body. And throughout Chinese history, tattooing has been seen as a deformation of the body, undesirable. Today, tattoos are seen as being affiliated with organized crime and the criminal world.
Many Chinese minority groups have much stronger tattooing traditions. For example, in the Dulong tribe, tattooing of women in the tribe has occurred since the Ming Dynasty. The tribe was being attacked by many of their neighbors, and the women were taken as slaves. Women began to tattoo their face to make themselves appear less attractive, so they would be less likely to be raped. Today, the tradition continues, but as a sign of maturity at the age 12 or 13.
Traditionally, some tribal cultures rubbed ink into purposely made wounds. Other old methods included sharpening bones and such to needles, which were then hand tapped into the skin using clay discs. Tebori is the traditional way Japanese tattoos are made and is still used today. It involves using non-electrical and hand-carved items such as sharpened bamboo sticks or steel, which are then poked into the skin. Wow! Hawaiian hand-tapped tattoos are also being done more often now and involve hand-carved tools from bones and tufts that are applied only after prayers and rituals. Now most modern tattoos are made using the electric tattoo machine. Bam! The first electric tattoo machine was made in 1891 in New York and was based on rotary technology. The first one to use a coil was developed the same year in London. The twin coil version was invented in 1899, also in London. The twin coil machine was the early version of the modern electric tattoo machine. The modern tattoo device inserts ink through a single needle or group of needles that are soldered onto a bar attached to an oscillating unit. It inserts the needles repeatedly into the skin about 80 to 150 times a second. Holy guacamole, Batman! Early tattoo ink used pigments found only in nature, though today inks are mass-produced and are usually carbon-based pigments that are not solely used for tattooing.
He was born in Switzerland, studied psychology, then began his art career as a graphic designer. He was an apprentice for 3 years and now he tattoos in Brooklyn, New York. Additionally, Maxime is an independent art director. John Nix was taught by Mike the Athens. He works in Barcelona for the past 7 years focusing on oriental drawing and painting techniques that translate to the form of tattooing. His work is extremely intricate and has a delicate touch with an unparalleled demeanor. He is a traveling tattoo artist and he's highly sought after. He's been in dozens of books and publications. Bob was raised by an artist in the city of Detroit. He's been an artist for his entire life, from metal rock bands to drawing just pencil sketches. He started tattooing after he got his first piece when he turned 30. His specialty is portrait tattoos. As you can see, he's quite skilled at what he does and has amazing talent when it comes to drawing tattoos on skin. Dylan specializes in sacred geometry and specialized dot work to make amazing art on human canvas. He's inspired by Egyptian, Tibetan mysticism and tattoos out of a shop in San Francisco, California. He is an award-winning artist for obvious reasons. His work is absolutely stunning. Tukey is a tattoo artist from Atlanta. He started at City of Ink, which is in Castleberry Hill, in 2003. He has since pursued his rap career with Taylor Gang and Wiz Khalifa. Tukey works by appointment only from his private studio in downtown Atlanta. Due to his high demand, he's actually got a $500 minimum on all of his pieces. The pictures you see are the progression of freehand drawings on paper to outline on skin, and finally the finished product.
Henna, also called Mandi, has been used for thousands of years, predominantly in North Africa, India, and parts of the Middle East. Henna was used as far back as 1200 BC by the ancient Egyptians to dye their nails and hair. Henna is traditionally applied for wedding ceremonies, during important rites of passage, and times of joyous celebrations. It has also been used in the past to dye horse manes, textiles, men's beards, and women's hair. Henna comes from the plant Lawsonia inermis. It can be store-bought or homemade from the plant. To apply a henna tattoo, the artist mixes henna with enough water to make the paste of the desired consistency. If the skin feels dry, lemon juice is applied to help the skin absorb the henna better. The artist then applies the henna in the desired design with an applicator or cone bag, correcting any mistakes quickly with a toothpick. After the design is finished, it is left on for 5 hours, or until the henna comes off on its own. The result is a brown-colored tattoo that lasts for 2 to 4 weeks.
The oldest mummified body found in Australia had piercings in its ears, and the body was over 5,000 years old, so they believe that that's when it started. Nose piercings started in 1500 BC in India, and they used to use it as really a form of fashion in the same way we use it today. It wasn't anything ritual or wasn't a ceremony about it. Tongue piercing originally started in Africa and American tribes. They used to use it as a way of ceremonies like funeral. It was supposed to be something temporary, just for the celebration, and they were supposed to take it out and let the tongue heal until they have to use it again for another celebration. Cheek piercings was used by the people in the Middle East. This was also something that was used for a ritual, but except for them, they kept theirs, and once you got it, you had to continue to leave it in. It can be taken out. People from Alaska down to the tip of South America have adopted this ritual as well, so they use cheek piercings. Navel piercing started in Egypt. The royal had to get a mark on or around their navel, so they used the piercing to reverse the mark of royalty if you were kicked out of the royal class. Nipple piercing started in ancient Rome. It was really popular during the Victorian era. They used it to make their nipples more sensitive and pronounced. Nowadays, it's popular in the women in Spain. There's really no document of the history of eyebrow piercing, but the Hindus use it as for religious celebrations all over India and all over places where there are Hindus.
Historically, jewelry has been made from materials varying from bone to bronze. Today, a number of materials are used, including surgical stainless steel, niobium, and titanium. Titanium is the least likely to cause an allergic reaction. Platinum and palladium are also safe alternatives. Initial piercing should never be done with gold or sterling silver. In the past, piercings were carried out in a variety of ways. Some cultures use sharpened bones, while others fashion needles for piercings. Yeah!
Today, the vast majority of women in the West have their ears pierced with a piercing gun.
The safety of piercing guns, which were originally developed for tagging livestock, wow, has been disputed. They are not recommended for piercing body parts other than the lobes of ears.
The standard method for other body piercings involves making an opening using a hollow medical needle. While straight needles are useful for many body parts, curved needles are manufactured for areas where straight needles are not ideal.
The needle is inserted into the body part either by hand or with the aid of a needle pusher. Jewelry is often inserted into the hollow end of the needle, so that as the needle pulls through, the jewelry is left behind. Risks of piercings include allergic reaction, infection, and excessive scarring. The healing process of piercings is broken down into 3 stages: the inflammatory phase,
is when the wound is open and bleeding, so sanitation is key. In the growth phase, the body produces cells and protein to heal the puncture. The edges contract around the piercing, forming a tunnel of scar tissue. During the remodeling phase, the cells lining the piercing strengthen and stabilize. The amount of time it takes a piercing to heal varies widely according to the placement of the piercing. Times vary from as little as 1 month to 2 full years.
Good go. Good start.
Siberian mummies with intricate tattoos were found in Russia in 1993.
Alright, just stop. Some countries use but cheers.
Okay. Pretty good.
Times vary from as little as 1 month to 2 full years.